Mercenary Metal Tuesday. That band was Defy Reality Band. I will link it in the show notes. The progressive jazz metal is what they call it. On drums is Greg Eby. Vocals is Trent Taylor. Guitar is Brad S. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Nick Labas on guitar. And they're from Garrettsville, Ohio, in the middle of nowhere. Some of the guys go to Kent State University and probably some other ones. Here's how they describe themselves. Playing their first show in September of 2013, Defy Reality is now busting through the scene, playing shows all over Ohio with national acts such as It Lies Within, For All Those Sleeping, A Skylit Drive, I the Mighty, The Browning, My Ticket Home. We plan to rebuild the local scene by supporting everyone and working together because in the end, we all want to achieve one goal or dream, being signed to a label and playing in front of thousands. The dream is what happens. The dream is what keeps us going, along with the love of music and passion behind it. We hope to see you at the next show. And I think they're playing soon at the Outpost. Definitely go on their website and check it out. And if you're not from the area, definitely go buy their album for sure. You can get it on Amazon, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Enter YouTube, wherever you want to get your music, you can find it. They're really good. I like how young they are, and they've got a good sound. I haven't listened to the rest of their music, but I'm definitely going to check out more of their stuff. My buddy Carrie Patton writes for a journal called the Havoc Journal, and they've got some interesting stuff on foreign policy and different things. So here's one of the articles from another guy, Scott Faith. This is why we can't have nice things or guns. 5 U.S. service members, 4 from the Marine Corps and 1 from the Navy, are dead at the hands of a lone wolf attacker who was most likely an Islamic extremist. In reaction to this atrocity, ironically but not surprisingly, took place in a so-called gun-free zone and 2 separate locations in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Many people called for the immediate lifting of the ban on the members of the military carrying private weapons in government facilities and on government installations. Understandably, after the Chattanooga attack, some members of the military, particularly recruiters, chose to exercise both their constitutional right to keep and bear arms as well as their inherent right of self-defense and arm themselves against copycat attackers. I don't blame them, and I like to think that I would have done the exact same thing if I had been in their shoes. However, I would also like to think that I would not have to shoot myself on accident the very next day. That's right. On July 17th, the very next day after the Chattanooga tragedy, police in nearby Gainesville, Georgia, responded to a report of an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound at a Navy recruiting station. I hope this is linked from the Duffel blog. No, it's from Business Insider. While details have not yet been confirmed, it seems that a Navy recruiter concerned for his safety after the latest attack decided to protect himself with a personal weapon and experienced a little desk pop action. Okay, if you've never been in the military, never been like in contracting or police work, a desk pop is like a rite of passage. A rite of passage is a retard or a joke. So usually what your buddy would do is like, hey bro, let me show you your gun or whatever, and he breaks it out. You're like, oh shit, and you end up shooting a desk or something like that. Hey, no harm, no foul, nobody got hurt, whatever, but you're that guy from ever on there, and if you don't get fired, you're definitely going to have to, mop up floors for the rest of the week, or, I don't know, pretty much the rest of your life is going to be horrible in that department at least, or whatever unit that you're in. But a rite of passage also because, I know for sure that, military guys and cops as well and whoever else definitely egg on their buddies to do a desk pop on purpose. And this, my friends, is why we can't have nice things or guns. Governors of several states have either authorized or directed military members to arm themselves in the wake of Chattanooga shootings. Unfortunately, occurrences like the one in Georgia give ammunition to those who believe that mass arming of military professionals means mass accidental shootings. While I firmly believe both the Second Amendment and personal responsibility, I also realize that the anti-arming crowd has a point. I did more than half a dozen tours downrange, and I personally saw or heard about numerous incidents of people having accidental discharges or negligent discharges, NDs, as the term has become known. I think if you ask a multi-tour veteran of Afghanistan or Iraq, they'll tell you the same thing. These are both men and women, Pogs, persons other than grunts, and gunslingers, newbies, and experienced warfighters, line troops, and those in special operations. And these were people who carried weapons every single day. So, you guys can check the rest of that article out. You know, one thing that is not mentioned within anything that I've looked into lately is the fact that it was the Clinton administration who, this is before I'm 30, so this is way before me. This is like maybe 98 or so when the Clinton administration basically banned all military members from having weapons on federal property, which then includes contractors and anybody else whose job is to defend people. So when they come back home, they can't have weapons. And this has come to the point of where even overseas, contractors and a lot of DoD civilians aren't even allowed to have their own weapons either, and it's only Pogs, and you got dumbasses out there, cooks and whoever else with weapons, but yet, you know, your average Joe Schmo actually doing a job, whether it be doing security work or intel or whatever it would be, can't even have a weapon either. And it was only this way because of the Clinton administration. Now, I'm not an old salty dog from back in the Vietnam era or Desert Shield or Storm or anything like that. You guys can tell me about that whole expedition, but I find it completely ironic that this has happened because of the fact that this is a calculated thing. I'm surprised there hasn't been more deaths each year just because of the fact that people aren't allowed to defend themselves. And so we supposedly have a, professional military, meaning that we don't have a conscripted military. And I just find it really odd that, although it does fit within the narrative of the lone wolf gunman, and it's only one guy, it can't possibly have been a whole group of people who coordinated the attack, it seems really interesting. I wonder if America's going to wake up and say, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have a big, giant standing army and big, giant recruitment centers. There shouldn't even be recruitment centers. It's kind of it just seems odd. I don't know. Because we're not looking at things empirically. We're just, the government exists, the military exists, the standing army exists, the recruiting centers exist. Not, well, maybe we shouldn't even have recruiting centers in the first place. Maybe it should be hard. Maybe you should have a militia in each state, or a state military instead of a standing army. And well, if we did that, then you wouldn't necessarily have to recruit because people would just come out of the woodwork because they would see the value in protecting their own community. So then there wouldn't even be a need for public police either. It just kind of goes on down the rabbit hole. Marines issue policy for off-duty personnel to cover heads with bags. Quantico, VA. Following a terrible mass shooting at the Marine Reserve Center last Thursday, the Marine Corps has vowed to take swift protective measures, including a policy that will issue bags for all off-duty Marines to cover their heads with. The new policy discussed in Martamin 365-15 not only prohibits all Marines, including recruiters, from wearing their uniforms off base, but also instructs them to cover their heads with a large bag, which prevents personal identification. All commands are initially instructed to disseminate money valuable bags, sandbags, preferably empty, or paper bags to all personnel to ensure immediate compliance. Colonel Elizabeth Thompson, a spokesperson for Headquarters Marine Corps, said the move is necessary to ensure that Marines remain safe and vigilant, whether they are being shot at on the battlefield or just shot at in their own office. While we know many active duty Marines were hoping for relaxed policies on open and concealed carry, we really feel that the bag over the head is the most practical given limitations of our budgets and operating forces. According to Thompson, increasing the quota of armed duty officers simply wasn't practical due to both the large number of Marines lacking pistol qualifications and a severe shortage of M9 pistols popular among deployed officers and staff non-commissioned officers too lazy to carry their M4s to the job. I'll leave it there. You guys can go and check out the Duffel blog. Marines issue policy for off-duty personnel to cover heads with bags. It's so true, too. Yeah. And now for some military times roulette. Let's see what they got going on. Highlights from General Mark A. Milley's testimony before the Senate Armed Committee. I don't even know how to say that person's name. National Security Journalism Initiative, more boots on the ground in Europe, additional advisors in Iraq, producing overhead to save money, preserving the Army's readiness and ability to fight. Hooah! These issues are foremost in the mind of General Mark Milley, a man nominated to be the next Army Chief of Staff. Milley is an infantry officer who is a commanding General of Forces Command, the Army's largest command, on Tuesday shared his views on the biggest issues confronting the Army during his confirmation hearing in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Our fundamental task is like no other, Milley said. The son of 2 World War II veterans said to the senators, It is to win and to win the unforgiving crucible of ground combat. Okay. The Army also is responsible for assuring America's allies, growing partner capacity, and helping victims of disaster, Milley said, but our very reason for being at the very core of what it means to be an army is to win decisively against our enemies. Wow. I'm sure we're not in Soviet Russia, but it sure sounds like it. Milley said that he has huge confidence in today's army, but he's also acknowledged in the time of increasing instability, of increasing uncertainty throughout the globe, the Army must squarely face and solve challenges that range from deep budget cuts and a massive drawdown on Russian aggression. So I'm going to look in my phone right now, and I got an email. I get these emails for like government contracting and stuff, right? So I want you guys to do like a little thought experiment. Go to whatever something or other.gov, whatever, and just look through the different awards that come down. And let's see, where is this email? Here we go. DIA awards $6 billion e-site contract for DoD contracts. The Defense Intelligence Agency, oh gosh, this is like everybody and their mom, like literally everyone and their mom is on this. Like $6 billion for some sort of e-site web thing like Boeing, and then there's Intelligence Decisions and SRA and Barrico and Convergent and DKW and Jim Bob's Contracting Agency, and so it's at the bottom. We're awarded an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, multiple award contract with a combined ceiling of $6 billion. The Enhanced Solutions for Information Technology Enterprise eSite contract supports information technology requirements across the Defense Intelligence Enterprise and greater intelligence community. Work will be performed with the worldwide to an estimated completion date of July 16th, 2020. The eSite contract vehicle was solicited on the basis of full and open competition and 77 proposals. I love when you hear all those words together. On the basis of full and open competition and 77 proposals were received after conducting a thorough evaluation based on the request proposal criteria, contracts are being awarded to 25 large businesses and 25 small businesses. Each company will be awarded a $500 minimum guarantee, and additional funding will be obligated to the individual task orders and initial follow-on task competition scheduled this summer. The Virginia contracting activity, Virginia, Washington, D.C. Yes, if you want to know what's going on, you can just go on any of this is from clearance jobs, but you can go directly to the FBO.gov and just look at all the billions and trillions of dollars that's just getting wish-washed throughout the country. I read this book called The Fleecing of America. I think it was from the 50s. I'm going to look it up. The Fleecing of America. I can't even find it. It was a book called The Fleecing of America, and it was from a senator, and I think it was from like back in the 50s. And essentially what he kind of went through is like the different contracting awards and the just different stuff, and an idea of called front loading, and basically where the United States government knows that obviously if the one-party system is going to keep running, well, then they have to spread out the wealth, right? So then you award all these contracts, you award them in every small, tiny little city, you know, Chattanooga, Tennessee, random places in South Carolina, and individual congressional districts, so that there's no possible way that it ever would be eliminated, because then you've socialized the entire country into federal employment. And what better way to keep people voting and to keep people's eyes closed as to what America's doing is to keep people employed. You know, and I fell in that because, everybody else has done it too. You know, we're all, even if you're working a completely commercial business, you're still getting federal money somehow. There's no way you're not. Or you're getting payoff deals essentially from the government for them not robbing you with the IRS. So, I don't know. But think about it critically. Think about what's actually going on in the world. And look at the FBO.gov and just see how much money that you don't have and how much money the government does have to give away. I hope you guys enjoyed that band Defy Reality. And if you're in Ohio, please check out my friend's band, By Light We Loom. They're playing tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Mill Creek Metro Parks in Youngstown, Ohio. You can check out their event, which is live at Morley 2015. The band name is By Light We Loom. My friends, The Generic, Eric Ling, and Shayna. I don't know what Shayna's last name is. I don't really remember. Oh, Delaney. Yeah. They're awesome. They have a really cool folk band. You guys can check them out. Please have an awesome weekend, and please share a video. And enjoy the next band for next week. I don't remember their name. I'll look it up. We'll find out. We'll all find out. It might be 7. Something like that. I don't know. You guys enjoy. Peace.